Hello. I'm gonna try to not make this a long video either. I'm gonna try to keep it on 10 minutes, but I'm gonna talk specifically about marriage in this one. Um, most of my videos gonna be about relationships and different things until outside of this talk about interests like wrestling and anime and stuff like that. I don't know, but a lot of I know most of y'all are familiar with well, some of y'all might be familiar with Kev on Stage. Him and his wife a while ago came out with a book called Marriage is Hard. But I would say that I disagree with that. Some people will say life is hard. I somewhat agree with that because it depends on, your circumstances, but eventually it can get easier. But for 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 most people it can get easier. So other people it may not ever be easy. They just get used to it and just make adjustments and but I'm mainly going to talk about the first statement is people saying marriage is hard. Marriage is not hard at all. You want to know why? Because it's not the marriage itself that's hard. It's the people in the marriage that makes it hard. It's the overcoming, setting your preferences as like the guideline to measure how happy and healthy your relationship is. It's the overcoming some of the faults that your parents have and some of the examples you had and placing some of those examples into your marriage without really formulating things yourself. It's about dealing with your trauma and your issues. Hi, how you doing, Denise? Um, it's the fear of if you don't act a certain way, if you don't do particular things, um, if you don't try to take the relationship under control instead of just collaborating with the person. How everybody doing? Um, I see a bunch of highs coming in. Am I voting? Right now I'm gonna avoid talking about politics because I'm mainly more of talking about what's up HP. I think I got a HP product somewhere. anyways, let me focus on topic and then I'll address some comments. Welcome everybody who's showing up. I appreciate y'all for spending a little bit of time with me. Um, but it's mainly a lot of times we are afraid of something happening that most likely is not going to happen. Sometimes you could have had past relationships where you know you had a partner that was talking down on you. You had a partner that wasn't too respectful of you, and then you go into the next relationship and you already got your guard up, and you're looking for signs that are not there. So, and then what happens is when you are trying to avoid certain issues and you're trying to avoid certain things and trying to nip things in the bud before they arise, you end up projecting certain things unto your partner, and your partner starts to react a certain way to it. And then some of their issues start coming up, and they start trying to look for signs in you about, oh, this person can do this person can do that. I don't know about this. And then y'all spending more time playing chess with each other instead of oil up. If you're a wrestling fan, I think that I get the joke if you're referring to gotta get oiled up, baby. But anyways, let me get back on topic. Um, and what happens is y'all spending a lot of time playing chess. Like I try to manipulate, play a game, go, okay, if I make this move, this move, this move, then they got to do this and they got to do that. Instead of just talking to each other, act like you don't know nothing about life when you are talking to your partner. And what I mean by that is when they say something and you feel like they could mean that disrespectfully, or you feel like they could mean it in a worse way, um, inquire about it. Ask them what do they mean by that, and so and don't be like, "What you mean by that?" But this ask clarifying questions. And I know sometimes it may not always go right, depending on the temperament of the person or depending on what they're dealing with. And I guarantee you, if at least one person in the relationship is asking questions and learning about the other person, eventually the other person either is going to become even more toxic, or they're going to go, wow, this person actually is looking to see me, and I want to return the favor. I want to actually see them. And what usually happens is a lot of time we are trying to control the relationship, we're trying to control the marriage, and we're trying to create a character out of our partner instead of letting them be who they truly are, who they were before the world got to them. Being who they are before that first heartbreak, being who they are before they fell into addiction, being who they were before certain responsibilities were placed on them, being who they are before all this craziness happened. Like when you was 3, 4, 5 years old, that version of you, and then nurturing that, and then letting that aspect of them heal, and then form into the version of them that they had to become to try to basically self-preserve or protect themselves from different situations. They had to become their own big brother or their own big sister, and they had to guard themselves from certain things. I think once, at least in the marital and partnership, romantic partnership aspect of seeing life that way, when y'all get rid of all the trauma, get rid of the past, and actually look at your partner and see them for who they really are, and actually relearn who they are, motivate them, lift them up, speak life into them, get through all those things. Then and only then, marriage and partnership won't be hard because you're not making it hard. What what usually happens is y'all are afraid of something, and y'all think the other person's going to take advantage of you. They're not going to care about your feelings. They're not going to care about this. Uh, they're eventually going to get tired of that or leave you for another person, all this other stuff. If y'all got all those fears, bring it to the table. Whatever fear or worry you have, bring it to the table and have that hard conversation. Once you have that hard conversation, then and only then, you will know for sure. You will see how they respond to what you're saying. You can see how they listen to you, different things of that nature. And then y'all gotta go into the conversation, preface the conversation, preface the purpose of the conversation and the goal of the conversation. That way everybody can go into it with their guard down and an open mind. What happens is you just spring something on them. Everybody automatically is in defense mode every day. Even if I go outside tonight and I go shopping somewhere, and I remember I went out with some friends a few weeks ago, and as I'm walking into one of the facilities I was going to, there was a lady in front of me, and of course, you know, I'm a over 6 feet tall black man. She peeks back a couple times, so I made sure to walk a little bit slower or do something to where I made it cleared out my focus wasn't on her, so she could feel more comfortable. But there's a lot of people out there that are constantly looking over their shoulders, constantly watching their back, even in a relationship, even the people that they say they trust. I don't think anybody fully trusts people like they say they do, and it shows in the action. The first time a disappointment happened, the first time the expectations not met, the first time that somebody said they were gonna do something and didn't come through, the first time any friction happened in a relationship, then you see their real opinion of what they think about you, and that's what happens. So um, I think once we get to the point where we can actually break down all this stuff and we can go, hey, let's have a conversation. Let me put out all my fears and concerns. You put out all your fears and concerns. And then with sharing that, I remember when me and my wife, before we became official couple, she was afraid about certain things, and she told me a secret, and she was vulnerable enough to share that secret with me. And I looked at her and I told her one of my secrets. And just that action alone, both of us sharing our deepest, darkest secrets, if we would have shared that with anybody else, they would have cast us out just as never talk to us again. But we shared that with each other. And the fact that I didn't judge her for her secret and she didn't judge me for mine is that bonding thing where you can be. That's what connects people. Being able to be vulnerable, being able to talk candidly, fully with your partner. That what caused that connection. That's what helps you grow. That's what helps you feel secure and safe in the relationship is being able to be vulnerable. Ladies, if your man has to cry every once in a while, let him cry. And don't make him feel like a punk for crying. Man, if your lady has to, I'm trying to make sure nothing weird happens. If your lady has different concerns or she's freaking out about something and you don't see it as a big deal, don't belittle it. I've been guilty of that. So I'm telling you from experience, like don't belittle something, even if it sounds funny or childish. Just embrace it. And once you do all that stuff, once you able to be vulnerable with each other, not have your guard up, not try to control the other person, make them do what you want. When y'all can just have open, honest communication with every aspect of your relationship, every aspect of your lives together, then and only then, marriage will be extremely easy. Not saying that y'all not gonna have slip ups and you might accidentally say something and she takes it a certain way and then y'all instincts kick in. But if y'all are putting that into practice, if y'all putting that into practice, y'all do a lot better with catching those moments and keeping certain words from being said that even though you can't apologize for it, you can't take it back. And that's always going to play in your head or their head. And that's going to keep you from doing certain actions, whether it's on the lower scale or the upper echelon of extreme. Um, When y'all focus more on that, then marriage can be easy. Because a lot of times people look at marriage as just a piece of paper. People look at marriage as um, tax breaks. People look at marriage as not really necessarily the marriage itself. They just look at marriage as the wedding day, as the, oh, I got my fairy tale ending. Oh, blah 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 blah. But marriage is a responsibility, just like driving a car, just like owning a house, just like having kids. It's a responsibility, and a lot of times we take responsibilities lightly, and we don't actually understand the importance of what we're doing. We're just looking at everything as notches to our life. Like, isn't it a like, oh, when you're either in the military or the Boy Scouts or something, and y'all do something, y'all get a patch, y'all get a medal, y'all get something added to your vest, and that's what people looking at it like. They just looking at it as like, oh, here's another thing I can add to my vest. No, but even with those different things, you have to go through a certain experience. You have to learn a certain skill. You have to have a certain sense of understanding. You have to do something to get those patches and those badges and those medals. Each one of those things represents something that means something. So marriage itself, it means something. Both you and your partner has a role to play in the marriage, in the success of the marriage or the ending of the marriage. Y'all play a part. There's no you're a bigger contributor to the failure or the success of y'all unit. In order for it to work, y'all both gotta work. Y'all both gotta be honest with each other, vulnerable with each other. Y'all can't hide and manipulate and scheme and do nothing to each other. Y'all can't do none of that. Y'all gotta be real. Because if y'all didn't trust the other person, y'all shouldn't have got together in the first place. That's why in your talking stages, in your early dating stages, and when y'all become boyfriend and girlfriend, or whatever type of relationship you have, those early steps of vulnerability and honesty and that open communication will do a lot of your groundwork for when you do decide to get married, if you decide to get married. Or if you want to just be with that person for the rest of your life, whether you are common law, um, or any other type of marriage of that sense, it will do a lot of the groundwork. So then once you're married, even when you have to deal with the money being tight or a kid being sick or one of y'all have a major life altering medical issue or whatever the case may be, y'all be able to fight it together because I got my partner with me. I got my spouse with me. And they've been with me from the jump. So I hope this helped. Uh, there's a couple people trying to troll. Uh, I'll just I'll just mention it. So number one, you probably can't tell because but um, Diddy is way darker than I am. Way darker. I can understand if you wanted to call me Damon Wayans or something like that, or Donald Faison, because they're more around my skin tone. But Diddy is way darker, and plus our facial features are way different. But I think my nose is bigger than his. I don't know. But anyways, I appreciate the people who logged in and said what's up. I hope y'all having a great Sunday night, Sunday evening. I hope you have a great week because I don't know how many lives I'm going to do. I might do one here and there. Uh, if you want to check out my previous live, it's uploaded. My thing does this weird thing about YouTube does this weird thing where it just automatically privates my lives, and then I have to go back and put it to public. But yeah, so I might have to go in the settings to do something about that. But I hope that if y'all thinking about getting into a relationship and your goal is to eventually get married, or if your goal is to just have a healthy relationship, understand that you have to be accountable and responsible for the things that you experience, whether it's your fault or not. Work through it, heal from it, and understand that when you actually get with your person, that they're not trying to screw you over. They're not trying to manipulate you or tear you down. Yes, both of y'all got we got taught so many different things growing up, and both of y'all are just trying to get what y'all want from it instead of focusing on giving, learning, and not protecting yourself from something that's not going to happen. So that's a lot of time people just have their guard up, like, oh, he said this because of this. And a lot of times, y'all insecurity, y'all emotions are speaking for the other person. It's like y'all in a court of law, and something gets said, you interpret it a certain way. Oh, and here's one thing I want to say. I was thinking about this earlier. Stop responding to your partner with what you feel about what they said, and understand the meaning of what they said. A lot of times, y'all let y'all emotions or your insecurities or whatever interfere with what your partner is saying and the meaning of what they're saying. Because then once you do that, then your partner feels like they're not being heard because you took what they said a certain way, and instead of clarifying what they mean and understanding where they came from, because none of us are linguistic experts. Well, only a certain percentage of us maybe, but you always going to misspeak at some point or not articulate something in a certain way. Or even if you do, we have different cultures, different backgrounds, especially like me, I'm in an interracial marriage. So I could, that's already cultural differences as it is. And then if one person's from China and then a person from Brazil, y'all gonna have different um cultures and stuff like that. So I understand that feelings do play a major factor, not just in our romantic relationships, but just life in general. But understand that your emotions are for you to deal with. Your emotions are for you to dissect, understand, process, and articulate. Your emotions aren't just a tool to excuse any type of behavior. Because a lot of time people say feelings are my emotions and feelings are real. No one said they're not real. No one said they're not real. But when you let your emotions rule over you, especially when you have all it takes is one bad moment to turn the tides of your whole life. And all it takes is one good moment to turn the tides of your whole life. But the good moments have to build up over a course of time. The bad moments is like a boulder crashing into a vehicle. So it takes more time to build something up than it does to break something down. So please take whatever you can take from this video. Take y'all relationship seriously. Take your mental health and other aspects of your health seriously. Take this look ahead and stop tripping. Because cause once you just start building a narrative that everybody's out to get you and you got your guard up, all you're going to do is make more enemies because you're going to think everybody's out to get you. So any slight sign like somebody forgot something, you're going to think they did it on purpose. Somebody didn't think to give you this, you're going to think they selfish. You're going to think they greedy. But no, you just don't want to get hurt again. So now you're too guarded. So now people have to prove to you that they trustworthy. They have to prove to you that they're not these things that you think they are. And then that's setting them up you're basically putting yourself in a certain category, and then that's making them have to perform to be in your life instead of you just trusting yourself fully, trusting and thinking logically, like, what do people actually want? And then you're able to use discernment and go, okay, this is a genuine person, this is not a genuine person. This person said that to try to make me feel good because they want something from me. This person said that because they genuinely appreciate me. Instead of just they sneeze the wrong way, you're evil. You can't be doing that. So I know I said I was going to try to keep this under 10 minutes, but I'm going to try to end it before 30. All right, but yeah. So at the end of the day, everybody ain't out to get you. Most of us do not have no celebrity status. We don't have enough money. We don't have all these different things. A lot of times, if you understand the purpose of your life, if you chose a purpose for your life, and you heal from whatever you've been through, and you work through different issues, and you trust yourself, then and you trust God, and you or whatever higher power you believe in. I prefer to say God. So if that offends you, it is what it is. But um, trust Jesus, then you ain't gonna really have too much to worry about. Because then, if somebody is in your life that is trying to desecrate you and bring you down, it will be revealed, and you will be able to go, "Aha! I'm glad I found out," and then you'll be able to move on. But you don't need to be so much on guard and like you living in this world country where there's bombs going off everywhere. It's some of us live in America. Some of us live in other countries where you can wake up, look around, you can go have a drink with your friends, you can go do this, go do that, work your job, come back, go to movies, go to concerts, and y'all can do all these different things. Now, I'm not saying don't be cautious about what you do at all, but you don't need to be in code orange or code yellow, whatever the situational awareness scales that they talk about is. Just be cautious but relaxed, and trust that you are capable of spotting certain things out, and just pay attention to things. Just pay attention. That's all you gotta do is pay attention to things. And then if something seems sketchy, then bounce. But for the most part, especially when it comes to your partners, the more you try to scheme and manipulate, the more y'all gonna be at odds with each other. But the more you are vulnerable and have open communication and state the purpose for the conversation and the goal of the conversation, you're going to have a very happy, healthy relationship. So I'm going to end this here. No matter if you love me or hate me, life is still butter, baby. Oil up.